Hello, today we are going to install the Linux operating system KDE Neon from the KDE community into a QEMU Virtual Machine, and then set up the KDE build system kdesrc-build for Qt6. So KDE Neon is not Kubuntu, is the Ubuntu long-term support, in this case 22.04. Plus, on top of that, the latest releases of Qt5, Qt6, KDE frameworks 5, 6, and the latest releases of the KDE software. And also the latest releases, so the latest deb packages for all of the dependencies of the Qt framework and of the KDE projects. Okay, this is a good operating system to use for running kdesrc-build. Okay, so let's download. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 options. These are marked as no testing being performed on them. And I would recommend that you install KDE Neon User Edition if the libraries that you're interested in, so Qt5, Qt6 and below, are available at the versions that you need in order to build using kdesrc-build. So that's why we're going to go with the User Edition. I've already downloaded the file. Let's create a virtual machine. So Virt Manager, File, New Virtual Machine, ISO, Browse, Neon User, Choose. Does not detect the type of operating system, so I'm going to use the latest Ubuntu 23.10. Forward. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm going to use 10 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm going to use 14 vCPUs out of my 16 CPU threads. 250 gigabytes. Let's name this thing KDE Neon. Customize before install, finish. There's just one thing to actually customize. The rest of the defaults are okay. So firmware, BIOS, not UEFI, great. Newest chipset, correct name. In CPUs, we need to change the topology to be 1 socket and 14 cores, no hyperthreading. The rest are of the settings are correct the way they are. Memory, boot options, Virt IO, network interface card, Virt IO. Okay, begin installation. Okay, this is the bootloader, probably Grub or ISO Linux or something. Okay, this is the live CD. It started in live CD mode. That was the KDE Plasma Desktop splash screen. And we're going to straight install the operating system. Careful that it's single click, so don't click on the install system with double click, but just once. We can maximize the installer. American English, New York, English US. The option erase disk. We'll use the 250 gigabytes. We'll create a swap partition of a bit more than the 10 gigabytes that we've allocated for the RAM. So the swap is a bit bigger than RAM size. Next. Okay. Next. The name of the operating system will be the same as the name of the virtual machine. Okay, that's it. It's creating the partition tables, and it's just moving an image from the ISO to the virtual hard disk. It's not actually installing the deb packages. That's why it's so fast. Less customizable, but really fast. As compared to, for instance, the OpenSUSE Tumbleweed installer, where you can customize what packages should be installed on the final operating system, on the final hard disk, but then it installs each and every package from RPM. Okay, we'll be back in a second after it finishes installing. Okay, and it has finished installing the operating system. We're going to restart now. This time we're not going to boot from the ISO, from the CD-ROM, but we're going to boot from the virtual hard disk. We can see this in here because the CD-ROM is empty. There's no ISO in here, and in boot options the CD-ROM is not selected. Okay, it has finished booting for the first time. We need to log in because the OpenSSH server is not installed, so we're going to install that. The splash screen, the first time that we're logging into this machine in the graphical user interface KDE Plasma desktop session. Okay, so let's see why in favorites there's no console. Let's fix that problem. Add to favorites. Okay, favorites, console, become super user, install SSH server, like this, go. Okay, and now we will not connect to the virtual machine anymore using Virt Manager. We can log out. Okay, let's find out the IPv4 address of the machine. It ends with 237. Let's copy paste it. Okay. And let's connect to this virtual machine using SSH. So SSH, the name of the user, was 7. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Password of the user administrator, become super user, install enough packages such that I can survive at a command line. That would be the Midnight Commander, Orthodox File Manager, and what else? Text editor, and maybe so this should be it. Build Essential is a C programming language compiler toolchain, and C++. Okay, after that we want to connect to the virtual machine in graphical user interface mode, and that's going to be done using the remote desktop protocol. For that, we're going to install a RDP server on the machine. So apt install xrdp xorg xrdp. Okay, and that should be it. Ctrl-Shift-T to create a new tab in console. And we're going to connect to the virtual machine in graphical user interface mode. The command line is this one. And the IP address ends in 23 and 7. Okay. Asks for my password. And we're inside the virtual machine connected using RDP remote desktop protocol. Next up, we're going to start recording just the interior of this window, of the free RDP window. Just a second. Okay, so we're connected to the virtual machine using RDP. We're filming just the interior of the FreeRDP client. So the FreeRDP window. Let's log in. Okay. And now we're going to set up kdesrc-build on this machine. Let me customize this thing a bit. At least like this. Okay, kde.org, the official website of the KDE community. Hamburger menu, get involved. Development. Operating system KDE Neon, which we have. We're using the best supported version of the KDE Neon operating system, which is user edition. This thing. Okay. And then we have two steps to install and configure kdesrc-build, which is the KDE framework used for building the many KDE Git repositories. And then we're going to use this build system kdesrc-build to build software. Something interesting is happening. Okay, so we're going to run this command line. Let's get a console. In the left half of the screen, I'm going to work in console. In the right half of the screen, I'm going to have the documentation open in the web browser. Copy paste. So Git is already installed. Okay, next. This configuration of Git is only if you want to write to the KDE Git repositories, and we do not want to write to the KDE Git repositories, we just want to read. Okay, these 3 lines. Okay. we're going to skip a bit the editing the /etc/apt/sources.list, and we're going straight to this line. So in here, this is the directory where we git clone the KDE git repository kdesrc-build, which is the build framework. It's a git repository because it has a .git directory. In here, we have the following executables: kdesrc-build and kdesrc-run. In order to run executables from the current directory, we must prefix the command line with /. Okay, it will, kdesrc-build initial setup will install many deb packages related to Qt5, Qt6, and other packages, other deb packages that are required in order to build correctly and successfully many KDE Git repositories. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm not going to set anything special in my command line shell for kdesrc-build. So I'm not going to modify the path environment variable. I'm not going to do auto-completion, anything. So I'm just going to skip over this part. Okay. KDE is one of the better supported Linux operating systems by kdesrc-build, and it will install a correct list of deb packages, which will make it easier for us to then build KDE Git repositories using this tool kdesrc-build. Okay, which is about this part. Okay, now after it finishes installing, we will need to look at the version of Qt that has been installed, and we can see it right now. It's Qt6 6.6.0. So right now the KDE Git repositories require Qt6 at least version 6.5, and version 6.6 is good enough for us. Okay, we are asked if we should update bashrc. The default option is no, and we're going to go with the default option because, again, I'm not going to customize my command line shell in any way. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to not leave the configuration file in here in tilde/.config/kdesrc-build, but move it in the directory where we git clone kdesrc-build. So mv to move the file, then the path to the kdesrc-build rc file, and then dot for the current directory. Okay, and now the kdesrc-build installation is self-contained inside of the tilde/kd directory. There's no files related to kdesrc-build outside of the tilde/kd directory. Let's look at the configuration file. So it's in this directory and named kdesrc-build and then rc. So the branch group should be kf6 Qt6, correct, for the Qt6. The rest of the defaults are okay, except the number of cores. So this is how many CPU threads should kdesrc-build use when it builds. So I'm going to go with the maximum value, which is 14, which is the number of cores on my machine, of vCPUs on my virtual machine, virtual CPUs. Okay, the rest are okay. So 6 in here, 6 in here, 6 in here, 6 in here, everywhere 6, and nowhere 5. Just in the documentation. This is okay. So save. Then it says that we should disable indexing, so the directory ~kde should not be part of any monitorization, no antivirus should look inside of that directory, no security product, no file indexer, in the name of speed. So it's a virtual machine. We're not going to put viruses there, and we want as much build speed as possible. Okay, I'm going to search for search, and says that file search is enabled. Since it's a virtual machine, I'm just going to flat out disable file search. But the correct way to do it is to go under folder specific configurations and go stop indexing a folder and select ~kd as shown in this screenshot. Okay, so with this, kdesrc-build has been successfully and correctly git cloned and then configured. Okay, so kdesrc-build is a build tool. You give it as parameter the name of a KDE Git repository such as kcalc, which is this thing. Okay, so this Git repository, and the application, once built, looks like this. So kcalc is not available by default. Interesting. It's usually installed in most Linux operating systems. It's a desktop calculator. Okay, so the command line for installing kcalc using kdesrc-build would be kdesrc-build space kcalc. That will git clone this Git repository, kcalc, and we'll see that kcalc depends on many other KDE Git repositories, and it will, kdesrc-build will know the order in which to build the various modules such that they build correctly. Okay. In here, when after I install kdesrc-build, in order to make sure it is correctly configured and works okay, I always run the same things, the same command lines. Which are like this. So first of all, I need to go to the directory, this one, because only in this directory is the configuration file, because only if I start kdesrc-build from this directory, kdesrc-build will find the configuration file. So I'm always forced to first change into this directory and only then run kdesrc-build. And since this directory is not part of the environment variable path, and since kdesrc-build is not available in one of the directories in the path environment variable, I always need to go /kdesrc-build when I want to use it. The very first thing, a minimal test, would be kconfig. The next test would be kcalc, and then I'm also going to run kcalc. Again, there's two important executables in this directory. One builds and the other runs. Okay, so we can even go like this. So kconfig builds the KDE framework version 6 named kconfig. This has just one dependency, which is the KDE Git repository extra CMake modules. But then before git cloning any of these Git repositories, kdesrc-build will git clone the Git repository, the KDE Git repository sysadmin repo metadata to find out which KDE module depends on which KDE module, to construct a tree of dependencies. Okay. The directories. So there's just one directory, which is tilde/KDE. In here lives the installation of kdesrc-build. It has 3 subdirectories. In the directory src, there's nothing else but git clones of KDE Git repositories. So it started with this one. We can show hidden files. So it's a Git repository. And then the next one to be git cloned was sysadmin repo metadata, which is this guy. And then extra cmake modules, which is this one. Then kconfig, which is this one. So all of these KDE Git repositories were git cloned into tilde/KDE src directory. And then there's the build directory, where intermediate files, generated files, build artifacts, etc., created by cmake configure or by ninja build are put in here. After build is finished, so build meaning this step, compiling, files from tilde/KDE/build, the name of the module, are going to be copied into the install directory by the installing step. So this installing step is ninja install, will copy files from tilde/KDE/build directory into the tilde/KDE/USR directory. So the structure is very similar to what you know in /USR in your Linux operating system. So there's a bin directory, a lib directory. This is for C++ header files, the include directory. Lib is for SO files, shared objects, and cmake files, files that end with the extension cmake. Okay, bin is for executables, properties, and it says that it's executable. Okay, and share is for other files such as icons, sound themes, translations, who knows what else. Okay, so now it has finished. So it has changed into the directory. It was already in the correct directory. Then it has run this part, which ends here. Then it is running this part. So it's building 22 KDE Git repositories, and not only KDE Git repositories. There's one which is not a KDE Git repository, which is Wayland. Okay. The last one to be built, the 22nd, will be this KDE Git repositories, the kcalc, what we told kdesrc-build to build. So we told kdesrc-build, please build the module kcalc. kdesrc-build has looked inside sysadmin repo metadata, found out that kcalc depends on many other KDE frameworks version 6 and on other Git repositories. It has git cloned all of those in the correct order. It has run cmake configure or other configure steps, then the compile step, ninja, and then the install step, which might be for the KDE Git repository, it's ninja install, but for other repositories might be make install from GNU make. Okay, so we'll pause a bit until we're at the 22 Git repositories built out of 22. So when this command line finishes. Okay, so we have a failure, says ktext widgets has failed. Let's see why. I'm control clicking with inside console. It should open in Kate in a new tab, the file. We're going to navigate at the line that's red. You can see the line in the scroll bar minimap. So says that could not find Qt6 text to speech. So let's install this thing. Let's see how we find out the correct name of the package. So Qt6 text to speech is the CMake name of the dependency. So how are we going to find Qt6 text to speech? There's multiple ways to do it. Let's become a super user. We can go opt, search, and then Qt6, and then grep speech. Okay, so what we really want is Qt6, speech, and dev. Because we're building software, we will need the header files, so we include files for C++ development from that library. So not the library, which is Qt6-speech, but the development package of the library. Another way to find this thing out is we already have opt file installed. So let's go opt file update, the minus. Okay, and now we're going to use opt file to search. So opt files knows for each of the deb packages that exist in all of the repositories that are available for this installation of KDE Neon, what is the content. And we know that inside of one of these deb packages, there exists a file which is named Qt6 text-to-speech, which is either a CMake file, so it ends with .cmake, or it's a package config file and ends with a PC. So with the extension PC or the extension CMake, and the name of the file contains Qt6 text-to-speech. The command line that we want is opt file and then search. And we want the search to be case insensitive, which means the -i parameter. So opt -file, search -i, and then this thing. We do not know the exact casing, so we're going to search case insensitively. Did not find anything. That's very interesting. Did not expect this thing. So the name is so Golang is for the Go programming language, not this. Not a libkf5 because this is the KDE framework 5. This is Qt for Python. This is Qt5. These are for Python. These are for Qt speech for Qt5. These are for Ruby. So it's possible that the cmake file is missing. So this is a very special case. Let's use the previous way of finding the name of the deb package to install. deb deb apt install and this thing. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to kdesrc-build and restart building. So I want to build kcalc and I want to resume from ktext widgets, which is resume from equals this thing. Middle click to paste selection. Still not okay. So it says could not find Qt6 multimedia. That I know what it is. So Qt6 speech dev has installed Qt6 multimedia, but has not installed Qt6 multimedia -dev. Which is this thing. Apt install Ctrl+Shift+V. Let's try again. And now the configure cmake step has finished. At this part, it went on and compiled, so build, and then installed. And now it has continued to the next Git repositories that remain to be built between ktext widgets and kcalc, which is 5 KDE Git repositories. Okay, so this is the last of the Git repositories that's not the actual target that we want, so kcalc, kxml GUI, which is a KDE framework version 6. So we'll wait a bit for the build and install to finish. Okay, and now at long last, it git cloned the source code for the Git repository kcalc. Then it's running cmake configure, compile, and install. Right now, the executable is in the correct directory, which is tilde/kd usr bin, and the executable is named kcalc, which is this one. Okay, but we want to not run the executable by double-clicking on it in a file manager, because maybe some parts of the executable will not be loaded correctly, or the executable might just crash because the executable cannot find the rest of the files. So the rest of the files in here, here, and here in tilde/kd/usr include lib, just lib, and share. For that, some environment variables need to be configured, which is the job of the other executable that we have, from kdesrc-build, which is named kdesrc-run, not build. Okay, this knows how to set up the environment variables and then to start kcalc from the correct directory. And it looks like this. It uses Qt version 6.6.0 and does not use the KDE theming. Instead, it uses theming from the Qt framework. If we want theming, we will need to run kdesrc-build Plasma integration. Okay, let's do that. Let's run build Plasma integration and see how the theming changes. So this will build many other KDE Git repositories and then parts of the system settings of the window manager, themes, icon themes, etc. Such that the settings that the user sets in the system settings are applied to, so the system settings application is using Qt6, and we want the settings that the user has configured here to be applied both to KDE applications that use Qt6, which are the applications that come pre-installed in the operating system KDE Neon User Edition, and also the KDE software that uses Qt6 that was built from source, from the Git repositories using kdesrc-build. Okay, so there's 30 more Git repositories to go. I'll pause a bit and I'll be back then when it finishes building. Okay, another hurdle, it says that it could not build upstream. Why not? Because YAML is missing, which is a library. We can fix this thing in two ways. One is to actually install the dependencies. So for KDE Neon, I should go either sudo apt build dep upstream or apt install this command line. Another option is to ignore the modules that do not build. So for that we go kdesrc-build --help, and the command line to ignore modules that do not build is no stop on failure. Okay, so we're building Plasma integration. I'm going to go minus, no minus, Control Shift V. Okay, too many minuses. So it's minus, no minus stop, minus no, minus on, minus failure. And then we want to continue building all of the dependencies of Plasma minus integration plus the module Plasma integration. But in order not to start from zero, from extra CMake modules, kconfig, etc., we're going to say resume from, which is defined here. So resume from the module that failed is called upstream. Okay, so now it's building just 11 Git repositories. Starts with upstream. Upstream has the same problem because we did not install its dependency. So upstream requires some deb packages to be installed from my Linux operating system from KDE Neon, which I did not, just in order to show how kdesrc-build --no stop on failure works. Okay, so we'll be back in a second if many modules seem that they will build, but just upstream will not build. So maybe upstream is not even needed by Plasma integration or by Kcalc. Okay, so now it's building module 10 out of 10, which is Breeze, which is a theme. Okay, and now the final module that we wanted, which is Plasma integration, which makes it such that the Qt6 applications running on KDE Plasma version 5 respect whatever the user has configured in system settings. So the icon set, theme, color scheme, etc. fonts. Okay, so although upstream has failed, all of the other KDE modules, Git repositories, have built successfully. And now, if we run again kdesrc-run kcalc, the application will look totally different. Okay, this used to be white, the background, now it's gray, the same color as the title bar. The background of the menu bar is identical with the background of the title bar. Then if we hover with the mouse, it shows a blue background. The accelerators are not shown by default. You need to press the Alt key. The fonts are probably different. And then each of these buttons behave differently. And these tabs look different. Okay, so this is the way the KDE community intends for the application Kcalc to look when run inside of the KDE Plasma desktop. Okay, and the last thing to do that I do in order to check that kdesrc-build was installed correctly on this machine is to build all of the KDE frameworks version 6. Like this. Let's actually install the packages that we need. We know that we should have installed for upstream and see if installing actually works. Okay, so 19 deb packages to install. Okay. The last thing that we're going to do is to make sure that all of the KDE frameworks version 6 build correctly. So these are 90 KDE modules. In here it says they're less than 86. Some of them have already been built because they were required by Kcalc or by Plasma integration. So to kdesrc-build, you usually specify the name of just one module. And then kdesrc-build is smart enough to build all of its dependencies, all of the other modules that are needed, such that Plasma integration has satisfied all of the build dependencies, without which the step CMake configure would fail, and the runtime dependencies, such that, for instance, when you run kcalc, it will find the correct SO files in tilde/kd/usr/lib. Okay, so this is going to take a while. We're going to pause a bit. With this, upstream still could not build. Let's look at the color red. It says that libzstd is missing. Let's find this one. Search, Ctrl+Shift+V, grep. So libzstd dev. Apt install, Ctrl+Shift+V. Okay, and now we tell it resume from equal upstream. Okay, and now finally upstream has been configured using CMake correctly and built correctly. Okay, but there's still 42 more Git repositories to be built, so we'll be back. And now all of the KDE frameworks have built correctly. There's no more errors. So this was it. We've taken the latest version of the KDE Neon User Edition ISO. We've created a virtual machine using the best technologies that we have in Linux, which is KVM, QEMU Virt Manager, Virt.io. We have allocated plenty of resources to the virtual machine, so I'm using 14 CPU cores, 10 gigabytes of RAM, 250 gigabytes of fast SSD. And then I'm connecting to the virtual machine not using the virtualization software, but either SSH or RDP protocol, remote desktop protocol. And in the virtual machine, I have set up kdesrc-build, and I have built many KDE Git repositories using the command lines kdesrc-build kconfig, kdesrc-build kcalc. Then I have run kcalc with kdesrc-run kcalc. I have built all of the KDE frameworks, 82 modules, and I have also built Plasma- integration such that when I run kcalc, it uses the theme that the user has chosen in KDE Plasma 5, because KDE Neon uses KDE Plasma 5 using Qt6, and I'm using Qt6 in kdesrc-build, including when I built kcalc. So this is it. Thank you.